This happened on July 8, 1947, and involves Major Jesse Marcel, who was, at that time, the intelligence officer at Roswell, New Mexico Army Air Force Base, the only atomic bomb wing in the world. Major Marcel is a combat veteran who shot down 5 enemy planes in World War II. A local rancher brought Major Marcel to a crash site located on a remote area of his ranch. They were astonished to find the vast amount of wreckage.
One thing I was certain of, being familiar with all air activities, that it was not a weather balloon, nor an aircraft, nor a missile. It was something else of which we didn't know what it was. There were just fragments strewn all over the area, an area about 3/4 of a mile long and several hundred feet wide. So we proceeded to pick up the parts. A lot of it had a lot of little members with symbols that, to me, I call them hieroglyphics because I could not interpret them, could not be read. They were just like symbols of something that meant something. These little members could not be broken, could not be burned. I even tried to burn that, would not burn. See, that stuff weighs nothing. It's not any thicker than tinfoil in a pack of cigarettes. See, I tried to bend this stuff. Says it will not bend. Says we did all we could to bend it, it would not bend. Says we even tried making a dent in it with a 16-pound sledgehammer. He says, still no dent in it.
A woman working in a radio station in Albuquerque, New Mexico, started to transmit on a news wire the story of Major Marcel's recovery of a crashed flying saucer. The FBI interrupted that communication with the statement, "Do not continue this transmission." An official Army press release was put out announcing the capture of portions of a flying saucer. Major Marcel escorted the wreckage on a B-29 to Carswell Air Force Base. The press was waiting for him, but he was told not to say anything by his commander, General Ramey.
The newsmen saw very little of that material, a very small portion of it. And none of the important things like these members that had these hieroglyphics or markings on. They wanted me to tell them about it, and I couldn't say anything. And when the general came in, he told me not to say anything, that he would handle it.
The reason that this story has remained hidden from the public for over 30 years is that General Ramey released a cover story at that point saying that the crashed flying saucer was really a weather balloon. The press around the world accepted that statement. The documented testimony of one of Major Marcel's B-29 crew members reveals that the UFO wreckage was removed from their B-29 by armed guards and placed on another aircraft. This seems rather strange treatment for the wreckage of a weather balloon.
More than 24 people in New Mexico associated with the UFO-related events of July 1947 have been interviewed. We have verified every statement made by Jesse Marcel.
A well-respected New Mexican engineer, Barney Barnett, has reported that a flying saucer crashed just outside of Socorro, New Mexico in early July 1947. Since this is the same date and very close to the location where Major Marcel recovered a crashed UFO, it seems probable that the crashed UFO Mr. Barnett reported is a larger piece of the crashed UFO Major Marcel recovered. Mr. Barnett saw a number of dead alien bodies extracted from that wreckage. He was accompanied by members of an archaeological expedition. A military group came along, swore everybody to secrecy, and carried off the saucer and the dead alien bodies. Between 1947 and 1952, there were more flying saucer sightings in New Mexico than in any other state. This document, recovered from the FBI's secret file, shows that during this time period there were over 150 sightings of UFOs over sensitive U.S. military installations. Many of these sightings fit the standard disc-shaped UFO description and were reported by more than one reliable witness. New Mexico was the state where all post-World War II rocket shots were fired. It is also the state where the first atom bomb was developed and tested. One logical explanation for this large number of UFO sightings is that an alien space-traveling culture was observing the Earth without making official contact and gathering military intelligence on the Earth so that they will be prepared for the day when we leave this planet and move into space. The best-known government responses to the UFO question were the much publicized U.S. Air Force's Project Blue Book and the Condon Report. In spite of the Air Force's public statements to the contrary, a close examination of the evidence in these reports indicates that some UFOs are extraterrestrial spacecraft, and that the purpose of these reports was to act as public relations cover-ups rather than scientific studies.
During the past 10 years, I've talked with over 24 military personnel who have confidentially relayed cases involving not only landings very near on military installations in this country, but also cases involving physical residue. In one instance, an individual assured me that he had personally seen to the transmission of this report to Project Blue Book, and this was a report involving a landing and quite a number of witnesses, security personnel. And if one is to check the Blue Book files, the files that have been open to the public, those cases are not there, not a single case.
Colonel Stevens gave us a good explanation as to why military people and former military people do not speak out about their classified experiences with UFOs.
Now, when a person working in the security field leaves the field, he's reminded of his oaths, and he's sworn not to reveal information handled officially during the time of his tenure in this particular security thing, and he's warned of the penalties. It's a $10,000 fine and 10 years in prison, and in extreme cases, forfeiture of all pay and allowances due or ever to become due. And so it's hard to find people who are not vulnerable, who don't have something to lose by telling what happened to them.
The encounter of two Iranian jets with a UFO gives a glimpse of how the government really handles good quality UFO military sightings. The lead fighter tried to intercept an extremely large, bright UFO. As he closed with the UFO, his electrical missile control and communication systems malfunctioned. He turned away from the UFO, and shortly thereafter, his systems began to function normally again. The White House, the CIA, and several other defense intelligence agencies received a classified letter describing the case in detail. This memo, written by General Carroll H. Bolender in 1969, became public in 1979 and revealed that reports of unidentified flying objects which could affect national security were not part of the Blue Book system. It is clear that the government regards UFOs as a matter of national security because they can fly rings around our conventional jets or rockets. The first country to be able to duplicate the behavior of UFOs could attack any other country in the world with absolute immunity.
You see, the single most important aspect of a flying saucer, from a government or military viewpoint, is its potential for military utilization. The first country to be able to duplicate the behavior of a flying saucer will rule the planet.
These recently released secret CIA UFO files indicate intense government interest in the military potential of UFOs. These files establish that the CIA had agents all around the world gathering information on UFOs. This interview with Senator Barry Goldwater provides an even clearer view of the government's concern about the military potential of UFOs. Senator Goldwater was the Republican candidate for president in 1964 and is a major general in the United States Air Force Reserve. We have verified the following quotes. Air Force, Navy, and commercial pilots have revealed to me cases when a UFO would fly near them, right off the plane's wing, and then just zoom away at incredible speeds. I asked General Curtis LeMay, who for years was head of the Strategic Air Command, for permission to check into the files, and he told me, hell no, and don't ask me again. I think some highly secret government UFO investigations are going on that we don't know about, and probably never will unless the Air Force discloses them. Someday soon, someone is going to have strong UFO evidence that can't be explained away. End Senator Goldwater's quote. There is already strong evidence that can't be explained away in Senator Barry Goldwater's own home state of Arizona. The evidence revolves around an incident that took place in the Sitgraves National Forest. It was in this location that a young woodcutter named Travis Walton was abducted by a UFO. The UFO was witnessed by 6 of his fellow workers. At Travis's home in Snowflake, Arizona, we interviewed him and one of the witnesses to the UFO, Mike Rogers.
There were 7 of us on the way home from work. We were riding down a dirt road in a pickup, and we saw an object hovering off to the side of the road. It was a glowing disc-shaped object. It was about 90 feet away. It was hovering about, I'd say, 15 to 20 feet off the ground. I got out of the truck and went closer. I wanted to get a closer look at it.